Hi boys and girls, welcome to another There Is a Place trailer. You know, these trailers are letting you know about the TV show There Is a Place episodes. The episodes are going to be a half-hour long. Our trailers prepare us for these for the TV show. Hope you've been watching the trailers and look for the TV show. Maybe it's been on. I don't know if not, it'll be on soon. So just keep your eyes and ears open for them. Today, this is trailer 11. Okay, and we're going to talk about Darwin. All right, and it's important to talk about different people who are revolutionary at their time, because we're talking about a revolution today. We're talking about moving toward an economic democratic society. And this type of society is where the workers own and control the means of production, and they run things democratically. They run the workplace democratically. We, the workers, own and control the workplace. Okay, and we decide what goes on in the government. Okay, it's a different type of system. We're moving forward, okay, and we're going to have this revolution, boys and girls. We're going to do it peacefully. We're going to do this at the ballot box. A different type of revolution, the first type of revolution where, you know, it's decided by everybody, okay, and we're going to move towards this at the ballot box. We're going to set up a new political party, and this is going to be done democratically. Anyway, to do this, we got to understand people were revolutionary in the past, what they said in the past, and how could it be applied today as we move forward to a new type of revolution. Okay, we're going to talk in trailer 11 here, Darwin. Okay, anyway, I'm your host, the storyteller, so let's talk about Charles Darwin. He, you know, born 1809, died 1882. He's the one that you may be familiar with him. He's the one that discussed evolution. You know, he studied in the Galapagos Islands, all those different animals, and he came up with the theory of evolution. And as we see today, boys and girls, it's more than a theory. As we collect more and more data on evolution, we see it's coming closer and closer to a fact. You know, as we do more DNA samples and as we do more carbon dating techniques, we're seeing that there is definitely a pattern. You know, it is more than a theory. It is it's approaching a fact. Why I'm saying it's approaching a fact, we don't have all the details yet of how evolution occurred, but we're coming closer and closer. And as we dig more and more in Africa, finding more fossils and so on and so forth, we will have a complete understanding of evolution. Okay, then it will be a fact, or a law of evolution, if you will. Okay, let's see some of the quotes he said. This was very revolutionary. Okay, I have called this principle by which each slight variation, if useful, is preserved by the term natural selection. Okay, this statement could be found on The Origins of Species, 1859. Okay, if you look at this, natural selection, in other words, you look at the environment. How do certain organisms, animals, plants survive? You know, they have the right genes, they have the right makeup in order to survive in the environment, and they carry this on to the next generation, okay, and they are able to survive while some other things cannot. This is natural selection, okay, and this is still occurring. You could see this occurring, natural selection. This is evolution, okay. If you don't think evolution is occurring, boys and girls, well, it obviously is. I'll give you an example. Antibiotics came out in the 50s and 60s, and so many types of bacterial diseases were cured. What has happened now, boys and girls, because of the use of these antibiotics, or the overuse of them, you have new types of bacteria that's developed. Because, you know, through natural selection, you know, the antibiotics killed most of the bacteria, but there's certain bacteria that was able to survive for whatever reason. They had the right makeup to survive the antibiotics, and now the new types of diseases that are come out, the new bacterial types of diseases, have an immunity to this antibiotics. Okay, if evolution did not exist, this would not be occurring. We'd still be able to use the same type of antibiotics, but now we have to constantly come up with new antibiotics to deal with the new types of bacteria that develops through natural selection. Okay, Darwin was correct. Here's data that supports that, boys and girls. The good news is we got to keep on coming up with new antibiotics. Okay, that's just the reality. The bad news is there's going to, you know, as we knock off one type of bacterial disease, a new type of bacterial disease is going to develop through this natural selection. Okay, but we'll be able to come up with new antibiotics. Okay, that's the good news. Okay, this is evolution. If evolution didn't exist, we wouldn't have to be doing this. Okay, we could be using the same antibiotics. The expression often used, this is Darwin said, by Mr. Herbert Spencer of the survival of the fittest is more accurate and sometimes equally convenient on the origins of species. Yeah, for instance, Charles Darwin used the term natural selection, but Spencer kind of used the term survival of the fittest. Yeah, the survival of the fittest, which is for the species or organism to survive. Okay, it was the survival of the fittest. Now, based on the environment, sometimes survival of the fittest means, we look at it scientifically and applying it today, that could mean the strongest species, the one, as far as surviving in a rough environment. However, survival of the fittest sometimes means, if you look at carefully, species that are they're able to survive, they're the fittest because they're the more cooperative, and that's why they're able to survive. Survival of the species means, what is it that's best fit to survive? And scientifically, it's been shown a lot of species have been able to survive because they are the most cooperative. Okay, and so this is something to realize, boys and girls, as we develop as human beings. It's very important for our survival to be less competitive, where we're hurting each other, where we're destroying the environment, and we'll become more cooperative. That is the survival of the fittest. That is what is needed for us to survive, to be more cooperative. And in that sense, that is the survival of the fittest. Here's an interesting quote that Darwin said. It's a little long one. "The plow is one of the most ancient and most valuable of man's inventions, but long before he existed, the land was in fact regularly plowed and still continues to be thus plowed by earthworms. It may be doubled whether there are many other animals which have played so important a part in the history of the world as have these lowly organized creatures." And Darwin said this in The Formation of Vegetable Mold Through the Action of Worms, 1881. Yeah, boys and girls, we're talking about looking at what's the best way to have a healthy, to apply what Darwin said, to have a better environment in the future. Think about it. Land was plowed way before by earthworms. Okay, and this is something to work with nature. Okay, not to destroy, our environment. We look at earthworms. They look like lowly creatures, but they have plowed the land. Made it, our soil fertile, thousands and thousands of years, way before human beings started farming. Our earthworms have done this. So maybe in our future we're going to figure out, through science and art, in a future society, to work with nature, in this case earthworms, to have a better type of plowing system. Okay, isn't that interesting, boys and girls? Yeah, to kind of work that way with the type of technology we have, a different type of farming, to have way better types of crops growing, with this type of plowing. Very interesting, and to work with nature, not destroy it. In our future type of society, boys and girls, in an economic democratic world, it's not going to be run by profit. It's going to be run by need, okay, by human need, and human needs involves no more pollution of land, water, or air, okay, and clean food, healthy food, okay, and how to produce healthier food. Okay, not to produce things for the sake of profit, but produce things to make everyone's life better. Okay, and this is how we, when we look at Darwin, who was revolutionary at the time, just when he came up with evolution. That was a very revolutionary statement, natural selection. Okay, all these I gave you where you could find Darwin's quotes. You could also find them in Bartlett's quotations. Remember, boys and girls, I think that's a great book for you to read. Go to the library, get on the internet, get The Origins of Species, read Darwin's book. Understand evolution, because evolution is happening. It is a reality, okay? It's important that we know that. That is a basic part of science. It's fundamental. It's necessary. And science is going to make our world better. So I hope you've enjoyed this trailer. Keep your eyes and ears open for the There Is a Place episodes. Until next time, boys and girls, as you know, the revolution is coming. Bye, boys and girls.